Hey guys, we are live here with Johnny Jalopy out in the garage.
What's going on, everybody?
Day two of the Kona shop. And we're going to talk to Johnny a little bit about what happened out here in the last couple days.
You wanted to have your Barbara Walters moment.
I did.
Yeah, that's what this is all about.
How do you feel about it so far, honestly?
Are we live already?
Yeah, we are
wow,
live.
Okay. Mixed emotions.
Yeah.
Mixed emotions about it. Excited that I've made the progress I've made. Fought through some frustrations as far as tools and things like that. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But there's the pressure. I've only got so many days to get my goal completed, which my goal basically is by Monday to have at least the cab of the truck mocked in.
Okay.
As far as not maybe finished welded or to any extent, but at least where things are tacked in place where they need to be, so I can go back and then spend some time and finish them, but have basic structures of what I want for the cab itself to be done.
And then
possibly the back end.
And your plan is to still build your own truck bed for the
Yes, so we're going to turn this into a Volkswagen pickup truck, and I'm gonna build my own Model A style pickup truck bed.
Nice. And you've got all the supplies to do that?
Not all the supplies. I've got some of the square tubing to make the basic framing of it.
Okay.
But I might have to use some of that tubing to build up some of the back of the cab, so I may provide more supply there.
Okay.
And of course the sheet metal, both the back of the cab and the bed sides. But I was able to pick up. We had some display stuff that did my job that kind of needed to be tossed, and they came big giant metal doors that came with these heavy duty hinges. So those will work great for the tailgate.
Nice.
So we won't have to buy any of that for that at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges did you face in these first few days? I know I was out here with you yesterday.
Well, everything's a challenge because I'm limited on experience.
Yeah.
So this is, the whole concept of what I tried to accomplish with this project is not only getting finished result of building my own stuff, but the idea was to take what I've learned in the years and opportunities of being with Ian on Full Custom Garage and watching this process, being a fan of the show itself, watching other builders, and being able to take some of that those ideas and skills, things I've watched, and put them into practical application. And so far, so good. I think we've made pretty good progress in 2 days.
So I know that there was an issue with the welder.
Yeah, I had a Lincoln welder that I bought probably 10 years ago. And from the get-go, it's been sitting for a while, quite some time. The actual tip at the end was gummed up, so it was jamming, and I was using flux core wire in that. It was set up for flux core, and I was of course going to move to gas. That was my whole intention. Start doing some thinner metal unit gas, shielding gas. Anyways, I started to just trying to do some couple tack welds on some bigger pieces of metal, and it was jamming up and gumming up. And then today I tried to go to the smaller size wire that Ian recommended, attach the gas fittings and stuff, and immediately found out there was a problem. The drive rollers was not the right size, and you're supposed to be able to just take it out and flip it to the smaller gauge wire. Well, for some reason, mine didn't have that, and I couldn't find it. And then I looked online, and my machine's pretty old, and hard to find that part readily available that wouldn't take longer in the project time. So my beautiful wife suggested, "Hey, you've worked so hard, and this is your project. Once you get up to date." So I went today and bought a new home bar.
Nice.
Yeah, super excited about it. And so far, everything's working. Yeah, as soon as I plugged everything in, I set up. It's working.
And the saw that you were using?
So the cool thing is I have an old Sawzall that was given to me as a gift. My mom's boyfriend, good friend Tim, part of the family, uh, was doing some work on my mom's house, and he utilized that sawzall for a bunch of different things in the project. He was doing it for my mom. Anyways, he passed away, and we missed him a lot. And he was always a big fan of the bug stuff and a lot of things we did. So my mom said, Tim would be excited if you would use his sawzall to help with the project. So we brought this old Black and Decker sawzall that my our good friend Tim, our family good friend Tim, is his, and it's old. It's very old, but it works so good.
I honestly thought it was going to fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, I got to retape the cord, all the rubber, plastic and stuff all fall apart. But as far as the machine is concerned, I mean, it worked great flawlessly. It's still the old school. It's not, not anything where you just click a button, pop in a blade, do a bunch of stuff. But it's worked great. So I'm so blessed that we got that cool tool.
Yes.
And he's a part of the project.
All right. So you're 2 days in. Do you feel that your confidence level is growing now that you're kind of getting into it? I know
Well,
you're
the
hesitant.
hardest part is we were making fun of that hardest part was the first cut.
Yes.
And once we did the first cut on day one, immediately I was like, I want to cut up every part. It's just fun cutting into metal. Because, when you're a kid and even doing models as a kid, scissors, different things to cut, chop roofs on. Like I've done it a bunch of times in models, chop tops.
A little smaller scale.
Much smaller scale, and a whole different, but it kind of the same thing. But it was the thought of like, okay, so let me just do this. So I went for the most dangerous cut we could do, and once that happened, I was like, okay, let's just start cutting everything. And immediately went to starting to cut the things we needed to cut to start to chop.
I do feel like you had some hesitation before we started. We've been talking about this for weeks.
Well, I had some hesitation just because, I know the owner previously of this vehicle was a great dude and built it the way it is now. And I love the bug the way it is. And I had some hesitation. It's been in his family for so long.
Right.
And he's done so much modification to it. But I also was like, you know what? I gotta make it pop.
Right.
So, and even when I was talking to Ian about like doing a Volksrad, ready just to chop and then to a truck, he was like, I don't know, man, trucks, that's a lot. There's a lot to go on to doing a truck. And I was like, yeah, I know. He goes, just do the job and see how it goes. And then it was at the back of my mind, I was like, and then you and I talked about it.
I got excited about
it.
it.
And ADB was like, we got to do a truck. And I started showing her some pictures. She's like, no, trucks, we got to do a truck. So I was like, yeah, this.
And I feel like if we're doing this, go big.
Yeah, so we're definitely gone big. For sure. All of it's big. It's way outside my comfort zone. And, this is the first time I'm doing any of this.
Right.
Really. Other than, it's different when you like having heart surgery when the heart surgeon's by your side, but then doing heart surgery or, any kind of medical stuff out in the field where you taught first aid, that first time you do it, you're like, oh my God, I don't screw this up.
And that's what I want to ask you too, because for the most part, I mean, we all saw my post about how my job yesterday was pretty much just sweeping up after you. But you're really just out here alone. And again,
today was a lot by myself.
Taking knowledge that you've gained elsewhere from other people, and you've been watching a ton of videos. You've done an extensive amount of research on this. This is not something you just came out here and did. So
no, I've been looking at. There's a forum in Volks. There's Volksrad.com. There's a guy that said a similar chop for a Volksrad. Now he didn't do a pickup truck, but I took basically the same premise of how he did his front portion of his chop and the rear E-pillar portions of the chop, and basically have been following those as guidelines and then kind of on the fly figuring out what I need to do myself. So, but I'm super stoked. We got almost 6 inches out of the windshield.
Mm-hmm.
I did some pie cuts and everything is lining up. So you can see some pie cuts up in here.
And look at how much smaller that front windshield looks.
It's definitely lower. And then we add the visor. There's a visor that's going to go back on this that basically takes away probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of vision or even seeing the windshield. So it really gives it a small, the visor sits about here.
That'd be very
stealthy. Yeah, so it's going to look really cool. I already did some mock-up pictures of it. You can check those out on my Facebook page. And then of course I started on the B pillars tonight. Before that was my last thing I did, is cut the B pillars out. So those will go back. They got to be, when you cut the roof, it moves everything forward a whole, whatever that 2 inches. And so now I had to cut that up, and it's being moved back to the correct spot. And then that'll get the roof to fit up the way it's supposed to be. So
I know it's been a challenge not having an extra set of hands out here with you, but you've been improvising.
Yeah, I'm MacGyver. I don't know if you can see behind me. There's I
don't think they can.
They're holding up the back part of the roof, which there's a big giant hole that was already cut in the roof. There is a flat bar of steel, or a
L-shape, L-bar.
L-bar, yeah. It's a specific name for it. Totally brain fart. But on a folding chair that's sitting in the back seat with some jack stands, which was your idea.
It was my idea. Thank you.
Why don't you use jack stands or something? I'm like, yeah, that's not a bad idea. And I've seen Ian on the show do a million times, pull out milk crates. At one point, I was like, going to leave it a little further in the garage, and I was going to actually take straps and strap it to the garage door, just because there's no weight to it.
Right.
This is a way to hold it up as well. So I had the plan B if the jack stands didn't work. And the initial jack stand thing didn't work, so I had it in the front seat. And then once I was like, why don't I put it in the back seat? That worked.
So it's being by yourself has caused you to maybe improvise a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, improvise a little bit more. But it also kind of gives you insight as to what goes through Ian's head.
Yeah, he's definitely having to work on the fly. I tell you, almost trying to do a mimic of what he does. Here we are in the summer, the part of summer in Florida where it's hot and humid. So drinking a lot of water. I basically was like I took a shower in my clothes at the end of the day. By the time I was done with all the sweat, but it's been fun. I've been having so much fun out here, just trying to figure things out, trying to get things to work, and just with this goal of like only have so many days,
right? And
really trying to push myself to get
as much done,
get as much as I can done with with my limited skill set, and trying to accomplish what I can accomplish. My welds are kind of shitty, but I got some tips from Ian. He said on some maybe adjustments I need to do on my welder. I think I'm running it a little too hot and the line a little too fast. Did get a couple great welds in the first one. So the welds are going to take practice. I'm going to get better at those as we go because I got plenty to weld. But I'm stoked that at the end of day 2, the front window is where the glass fits in, is there. Everything lines up. There's some tweaks I can do, things that fit flats once we go to finish welding or start tack welding, or more tack welding in to finish. That could be adjusted. Like I might still do a pry cut here to make this lean in a little bit more, so it'll line up a little bit nicer. Yeah. Now what's cool is actually thinking it, like the thoughts of other ideas I've had, is like, man, I think I can pull them off. Mm-hmm. Like they were ideas before, and now I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to do them though. Do I have enough capabilities? And I just feel like, I'm not saying I've mastered this by any means.
But your confidence level.
But the confidence level is definitely up further. And I would say to anybody who's sitting on the sidelines or thought about jumping into a project,
because that's been you for the last couple of years,
many years, where you're just afraid to screw something up, or you're like, what do I do if I screw it up? I would say, you know what, man, or gal, whatever, my hot rod friend, do it. Just go out there and do it. Make those first initial spots. Have confidence that you've done enough research. Do the research. Check out videos. Ask questions. I've had so many people that have reached out, said, "Hey, if you need help or you need any questions, don't hesitate." It's been great. Car building guys that I'm friends with have been giving great supportive things, saying, "Hey, keep going. It looks like you're doing a good job." That kind of stuff.
Honestly, even just the "Hey, you're killing it," or "Hey, you're doing great,"
it feels good.
It's motivating.
It feels definitely motivating that I'm in the right direction. It's starting to look like something already. What I envisioned.
Yeah.
So
super excited about it. Since you made that first cut, do you feel like your vision's changed at all, or are you sticking to what you thought you would?
No, there's been some changes.
Yeah. just getting your hands in, really getting started with it. It was probably what you needed to.
Yeah, even before we started this video, I went and watched another video today, and basically some still shots. Because the guy just didn't really do a video of how he did the cab portion, but did a quick, like almost a time lapse real fast. Didn't do much explaining, but I just kept taking, would stop the video, take still shots, so I can look and go, oh, okay, that's been pretty helpful. I've been doing a lot of that. Anything that I'm using as reference, where I've been, you watched me today. I probably came in the house about 3 or 4 times before I did the pie cuts, just to make sure I was cutting in the right spots. And then it was so cool. The first, that side, I cut them and took a little body hammer and banged it over, and immediately lined up. And I was like, oh my God, this works. I don't know why I was so skeptical, but I was like skeptical of that I could get it to work. You know what I mean? So
And how easy we got the windshield out. That was
well,
easy.
that was fun too. So the back pop-out windows, which we were lucky, they were pop-out windows, so they just unscrewed. Those came out easy. That kind of, I think that helped, because that built confidence too. We're like, oh, okay, the windows are coming out way easier than we thought we did. The rubbers in the front of the window came out super easy and popped out the window. Nothing broke. Everything's still intact, which is great. Not that we're going to reuse any of it, but it was cool that we didn't damage something. Although I will say, my which were already damaged, the window wings for, but I'm going to go to a larger window setup anyways.
Yeah.
So those are going to. And so I'm still contemplating, do I continue a roof, or do we make it a almost like a Model A truck, which is where it's a roadster, and then maybe make a Carson top.
My Carson top.
EDV and I are still trying to decide which way to go on that, or do we do it like it is now, leave a rag top type situation. The cool part is it feels like we're at a part where we can start actually having some plans of, hey, what would make it cool versus, oh my God, are we gonna be able to put that together?
Right.
So that's the part that feels the best. So I feel like, okay, I'm not in a, oh my God, what the hell am I gonna do next?
You had thought that you were going to be destroying it if you made the first cut. I remember after you made the first cut.
I really did. I was really so concerned. I was like, oh my God, I screwed this up.
But I think you told me, Ian told you, dude, anything can be fixed.
Well, that's the thing. That was a vote of confidence. And he said that, he's been saying that since the first time I met him, and like, oh my God, I want to do this. He's like, just go do it. I'll talk about it. Just go do it. So, shout out to him for all his tutelage. He's been such a great friend.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for tonight. We just wanted to get everybody up to speed on what's been going on. I know Johnny did a video earlier with a little bit more detail and kind of showing you around the car what he did, so you can check that out on the page. But I wanted to give you a little insight as to what was going through Johnny's head, how he's feeling about it, just so you can kind of hear it from the horse's mouth here. So, so that is it, folks.
Thanks everybody for paying attention and watching and hanging out. We sure appreciate you guys, and thanks for all the support. And keep an eye on Kona 5. We'll be running down the road soon.
And we've got a full 4 more days of build time. Sunday, maybe.
It really feels
Sunday
like
half a day. Sunday half a day.
It really does feel like I'm back at in the bits of the desert where I'm only there for a few days, which is why maybe I've been pushing myself so quick. So like when we film, it's like let's go. So,
right. Super fun. All right, guys. We
We'll
appreciate you.
Hey, see ya.
Stay sketchy.
Stay sketchy.